Kayole, nestled on the outskirts of Kenya's capital city, Nairobi, it is home to some of the country's fastest-growing slums. Here, disease, desperation, and despair are all part of the daily grind. With a population of almost 1 million, Kayole, like many urban centers across Africa, has become an AIDS epicenter. Bishop Jefferson Inyatuka, one of the leading pastors here, describes the situation as alarming.
A few years ago, when people talked about HIV/AIDS, very many people thought maybe it cannot affect us or my family. But now every family in Kenya is affected by HIV/AIDS.
For more than a decade, the slums around Kayole have become a magnet for many of Nairobi's poor and homeless. Hundreds of thousands have come here in search of a simple roof over their heads. It's a search they often find elusive.
As a minister of the gospel, one of the things that you are supposed to do is to love the people. But when you come and see them suffering and having many problems like they have, and then you don't have resources, it is very, very much discouraging.
Shacks made of tin and cardboard dot the landscape here. Narrow lanes snake through the neighborhoods. Children play in the dirt and in the midst of squalor. One of the most striking things about some of the slums here is that come rain or shine, home is a wide open space under these high voltage power lines. Why do so many live here? According to some of the residents we spoke to, they don't have to pay rent for the land they live on. Also, they claim to be free of harassment from land grabbers who have no use for this unusual piece of real estate.
We had nowhere to go.
Lucy Injeri Muthaka has lived in Kayole for 4 years. She knows firsthand what it means to lose a loved one and have barely enough to live on. Lucy's husband is dead.
My husband passed away because of HIV and AIDS. And I'm alone and I'm jobless.
After her husband died, Lucy came to live in Kayole. She cannot afford her medication or even provide simple meals for her 3 young children.
We are poor. We need a lot of help. Our village, we need food.
Lucy says she and others who live here desperately need help. Theirs is a daily struggle that takes a physical and emotional toll on their lives. These are communities that seem to have been all but forgotten. Even the most basic infrastructure does not exist. Instead, death, sickness, and poverty are all too familiar.
Here, in this community, we have very many who are having HIV and AIDS. They struggle and then they pass away.
The nearest hospital or clinic is many miles away.
I know of a number of people who have died in the process of looking for transportation or for means to take them to Kenyatta National Hospital, which is very far away from here. And in the process, they die.
Some of the biggest challenges that we face as an organization here on the continent of Africa is getting the economic resources needed to do the type of job that's certainly being asked for. It will take a considerable amount of funding over a period of time. This is not a problem that's going to be eradicated in weeks or months.
Infant and adult mortality rates in Kayole and Eastlands are alarmingly high. 9 months ago, Anna One Boy gave birth to a baby boy, her first child. Shortly after, doctors told her she had full-blown AIDS. Her son also tested positive for HIV.
Uoga sina, lakini sasa ile inaniwekaga wasiwasi ni watoto kukosa kusoma na saa ingine kukosa chakula.
Anna has spent very little time with her child, not because she doesn't want to, but because she's been too weak or sick to provide any kind of care. Neighbors help look after her son as much as they can.
Hakuna sijapata.
Basic resources to combat poverty and disease in Kayole are all in short supply.
I think the bottom line is that there's not a lot of concern.
All across sub-Saharan Africa, there are many communities like Kayole, congested and overwhelmed by the twin devastations of poverty and AIDS.
There is a lot of work to be done, but very, very, very limited resources.
With little or no community resources, these are challenges that Africa's faith community has to fight against every single day.
I believe that it is a myth that faith communities don't want to be involved with HIV. All that I have seen with bishops and imams, they want to address the seriousness of their people. But what they lack is resources.
While considerably more resources have come into Africa today than at any other time before, some say very little of it is making an impact where people are. According to Bishop Inyatuka, until the bomb in Gilead came knocking on his door, he was unaware of any AIDS-related projects in his community.
There is no single billboard talking about AIDS or about HIV/AIDS in this place called Eastlands. And this is where most of the people of Kayole live. This Eastlands has got more population than 2 million people. Kayole alone as an estate has got almost 500,000 people. But walk around all of the place, you will never see an NGO office for AIDS. You will never see a billboard for AIDS.
It saddens me. It makes me angry.
Until recently when Palm and Gilead came from US, and then they came and introduced a program in our church, I could be able to say it is the first HIV program in this area.
The focus of the Balm and Gilead's Africa HIV/AIDS initiative is to build the capacity of Africa's faith community to address HIV and AIDS.
What I can say about Vanessa and Balm in Gilead is that they are a genuine people looking forward to solving the problem which is affecting the people here in Africa.
In churches and mosques all over sub-Saharan Africa, leaders realize that AIDS is a modern Goliath. But they also know that no one is better equipped to bring down this seemingly invincible foe than people of faith.
There's only one organization, only one institution in all of Africa that can address HIV in the rural communities and in the urban communities, and that's the faith community. Because in many rural communities in Africa, you have nothing except a church or a mosque.
We're going to be here for the long haul. That's why we're talking about the development of a partnership.
People are dying right here.
The Balm in Gilead's partnership here in Kayole, Kenya, has the potential to impact the whole nation. With the necessary resources, Bishop Inyatuka says the goal of his coalition of more than 300 churches is to help reverse HIV infection rates and make a difference in Kenya's rural areas where the need seems to be the greatest.
I am not going to be buried in the grave of despair. In Africa, we have already won a lot of wars, and we don't believe that this one war is going to defeat us. So we are not localizing the situation. It is a whole war which we want to take everywhere. And already we have started training the people, and already we have taken in people to be trained to evaluate the situation and to see how we are going to start tackling the issue head on.